Thanks a lot for the nice introduction, and thanks for having me again here. And good morning. I am going to talk today about what Germany is doing in regards to nation branding. And I assume most of you are students, so you know the difference between nation branding, cultural diplomacy, public diplomacy, and of course tourism and trade diplomacy. Nation branding, of course, is a sort of the umbrella for all of that, and that's exactly what we are hoping to do. Every country needs to have a unique approach about what is their nation branding, and I'm going to show you a bit today about what Germany is doing, but of course that's not a master plan for any other country, because every country is different. Every country has to find its own way how to do it. So I'm going to show you a bit why we are doing what we are doing, and also what we are doing. And in the process, I hope to get the relation to what nation branding and what we are doing is having to do with cultural diplomacy, because I talked with my predecessor already a bit. Actually, nation branding and talking about people is cultural diplomacy, because culture is people. Right. So we start. We start with this image. Now, you might ask, why is Germany doing nation branding? And if you look, I don't know, can you see it? Is it too? Yeah, can you see it? Right. Because I can't. Why is Germany doing nation branding? Everybody has a certain image of Germany, I think. So it's quite developed. Everybody knows Chancellor Merkel, of course. We are known for our beer and how we love it, and the world loves it too. We're known for football. We are also known, of course, for our cars and of all the manufacturing industry we have got. Neuschwanstein, that's the tourism aspect. And of course, our history. And I don't want to delete this here. We are also known for our difficult history. And quite recently, that's the one on the left, for how we deal with immigration. That's sort of the latest picture about Germany. So you might ask, well, everybody knows something about Germany. Why do nation branding? And actually, I would like to ask you, how many people are not from Germany? Raise your hands. Nobody is from Germany. Okay, that's interesting. Apart from us. So nobody's from Germany. And how many of you have changed the image of what they think of Germany after they came here? Most people already had an image, and it hasn't changed when they actually met German people. Is that right? Your image has changed?
Yeah, a little bit.
Okay. In what way?
I wasn't aware of the emphasis you have on your difficult history, as you said.
Okay.
I didn't know how respectful you were of this.
And ashamed?
That too.
Mm-hmm.
But
Mm-hmm.
also all the things that you do to redeem or rectify
Okay.
and not forget. So,
Okay.
Yeah.
That's interesting. I hear it a lot. Okay.
The funny thing is when you move around Berlin.
Yeah.
Because when you come here, sometimes I am weird, for example, myself, but maybe because I am a communication person. I am journalism and public relation advertiser. And when I came here, I like to be direct and honest. I say, wow, Berliner, they are a little assholes, a little bit. They were close, rude sometimes to people, and I confirmed that feeling when I moved to Cologne.
When you moved
When I moved to the west of Germany, for example.
Okay.
I felt the contrast so much, for example.
The West is friendly and Berlin is not so much. Did I get?
I felt that I found them more open, more funny, with more sense of humor and so on. Here, especially when I was in Cologne and Kusen,
Okay.
in that area and went around, I found them.
Did you go there during Carnival?
No.
Because that's different. Doesn't count.
No, I
Okay.
was there I remember it was on December 12, 2015.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
On that day, so it was there around
that's different as well. Football doesn't count.
Yeah, but I was around the city, so
Okay,
I
okay,
was
okay.
not with my shirt or my football team,
Okay.
so at the beginning they didn't know that they were there.
But that only proves to say that, I mean, Germany is big, and of course the parts of Germany are different, like in every other country.
Even
No.
if, for example, a different, Hamburg
Yeah, yeah.
really better than Berlin.
Okay.
Berlin, it's something like weird. I don't like it. I don't know, maybe I am weird and so much open,
You are different than most of the world, actually, because most of the world seems to love Berlin. Because it's different. Ah, okay. Because it's different than the rest of Germany. That's interesting.
I mean,
Yeah,
there is
yeah.
Germany and there is Berlin. This is what I know.
That's what I hear often, yeah, and I agree. Yeah, it's different. And you don't have to like it, but I mean, most.
But it's about judgment.
It's about judgment, yeah.
We have to understand that, people like freedom. And at the end, people like to do whatever they want. And there is one thing that at the end, sometimes we have things to do, and we have interests that they are not, it could be about I don't know, maybe it's because religion, maybe it's because tradition, maybe it's because culture, but sometimes we have, let's say we are doing things or we like things that they are not well seen. And this is like a little bit, I'm from Spain, so it's a little bit of Ibiza, or it could be in the US, San Francisco. Here it looks like you can do whatever you want and nobody cares.
That's a bad thing?
So at the end,
That's sort of thing.
yeah, but the point is like, in my opinion, you're a close person. When you need to go somewhere that it looks like for everybody they don't care about, when you need to do something in order to, nobody judge you. If you are an upper person, you do it wherever you are. I am the same person here that in my city. In my city they think that I am crazy, for example. I am a different person and it's like, Esteban, nobody understands me. And here, yeah, nobody cares. But at the end you don't care. But that's why, because at the end when you do this, it's because when you don't need to be judged, it's because you are a closed person. Even if you say that you are open, no.
Okay.
If you are an open person,
Let's
you want whatever you want.
let's move on a bit, right? As I said, most of you, and I see most of you had a sort of a fully formed image before you even came here, and it hasn't really changed. I'm quite sure it changes a bit as soon as you're in the country. But still, the question is, why do nation branding at all? Because we're such a well-known country, you could also say, speak for yourself, you don't really have to have an organization like where I come from, it's called Germany Land of Ideas, who actually does nation branding. And you're quite right. I would like to show you why we are doing it. Because it was different at a time. And most of you, I think, are too young really to remember that. But Germany was really a different country before unification, but after unification in 1990 as well. Germany was divided between the East and the West. And it wasn't really going as well as hoped. And there was no common identity. There was certainly not a common vision. That there was sort of two parts of Germany were living not together but apart, and the mood was really bad. And that was not really backed up by the economy. The economy was running good, but the mood was bad. The feeling that something is not right was really bad, and so people and the economy asked themselves, what can we do? How can we change that? Because the economy is working, politicians are, the feeling was just not reflected by what the actual figures said. So what can we do? And then there came a unique opportunity. In 2006, the Football World Cup was held in Germany. You remember that because you're, okay. And that was unique for Germany, and that was a unique opportunity, as you might know, for every country. Every time a huge sports event is held somewhere, like the Olympics, like Football World Cup especially, the media attention of the whole world is on the host country. And you really have a chance to do something with that. Both externally, that means you can really show or try to show the international audience what you would like to tell them, what you like to show them, but also, and that was certainly the case in Germany, internally. For Germany, that was a chance to create an identity where there was none before. That was really the World Cup, and that's why the government at the time and German industry decided we have to have some sort of nation branding effort, and that's where my company was founded in 2006 for the World Cup. And we actually did a lot of great stuff, and I won't go into that then. But what it achieved was that not only externally in the international media, Germany was suddenly perceived as a friendly country, a good host. Sort of people could also party, which somehow, stereotypically, the international audience didn't think Germany could do. They thought Germany is stiff and very bureaucratic and, well, And the football World Cup changed that international image. Why did it change that? Because German people themselves started to believe that and started to feel that. For them, the football World Cup was not one big party, but was sort of an affirmation that they are friendly, they are good hosts, and they don't have to be ashamed all the time because of their past. And that really, as you said, that is a huge part of what we are. We don't have, and we talked about that early on, Germans do not have sort of an ongoing identity through history. Because Germany, first of all, was never the one country like France, for example, or England, or other countries. Because our borders always shifted. We were always, there was, sometimes we had parts of France, we had parts of Belgium, parts of Poland. We were not one country, so the borders were shifting. We didn't get a chance to develop an identity then. And also, of course, after the Second World War, we were divided in East and West. And we had 50 years of not a common history, but really histories that were going really like this. The Cold War was going right through our country. So no chance to develop an identity then. And in 2006, that was 15 years after unification, it hadn't developed at all. So for some reason, and I think it has to do with the good weather, but also because football, sports events are just emotional events, that brought German people together. So really, it created an identity within the country. And that is really important because only if you have, as a people, an identity in the country, you can also project it to the international audience, to the outside world. If you, as a human being, actually feel confident and feel good with yourself, you project that. And the same goes for nations, of course. If you, if one as a nation feels confident and feels good with what they are, you can project that to the outside world. And it really changed everything. Also, and I haven't got the statistics right now, but really statistically you can see that all of a sudden after the World Cup, Germany was well regarded in almost every ranking you get. And some of you might know the Simon Anhalt and the Nation Brands branding if you're students. After 2006, beginning with 2007, Germany was always first or second. And before that, we were not even among the top 10. So really, that's what I want to stress, because that's what we are focusing on. We're focusing on the people and focusing on creating an identity in Germany. And I know, because last time I was here, I talked with some of you students, and they couldn't really imagine why Germany hasn't got an identity. Germany is such a big country, a strong country, and so the question is, how come you don't feel that? But it's just the way it is. It's historically developed, it's just the way it is. We don't really feel, in general, don't feel good about ourselves. Because of history, but also because our borders were not set in one place, so we haven't got a long tradition about that. So that's really important to remember. And again, because we started with a dialogue. If you have questions, we are not too many people, please ask all the time. We have time for questions later, but if you have something in between, ask. Really, we're not that many people, so not a problem. Right. So here again, our goals. We had for the our goals when we were founded. We had the international goals. Of course, we wanted to put attention to Germany. Of course, we wanted to tell a positive story, so-called a positive story about Germany, positive picture. But also, it was always we wanted to have the attention of the millions of German people to think about what unites us, what is in common, what is what is good about Germany. The flag, that really personifies our feeling to our identity. What I've just said. We have a sort of, I couldn't even say a troubled relation to our flag. Actually, we haven't got any relation to our flag. You, as the other only German, might approve. If you travel around Germany, it's very rare that you see flags in private houses. I think you would agree. We have flags here, official events. We have them. But other than that, we never had flags because we just don't relate to what a flag stands for. Not like in America, not like in really most other countries. It's a reflection of, well, we don't really know what to do with it. We don't unite behind a flag. And so this picture is really representative of our lack of feeling for our country. Yeah, oh, 2 questions, yeah.
Is it a strength or a weakness?
Say again?
You don't have any relation with your flag. Is it a strength or a weakness?
Oh, that's a good question.
For me, it's a reflex.
So,
Not only for Germany, for me, for every country, you know. The nation, to be proud of your nation, you know, to have this patriotic feeling, it looks like something is strength. For me, it's a weakness as a human.
I agree, because if you say the not having a relationship to a flag is also not having a relationship to your own identity, then it's a weakness. Yeah, I agree.
No, having it is a weakness. Having it is a weakness.
Having a relation to a flag
As
is a
human,
weakness.
for yourself, as a person, of course. For the country, for the government, for the system, is a strength. That feeling, that goodness. But as a human being, it's a weakness. Yes. Very easy.
My question
Very easy, because people.
Well, I would say
It's
it's
the same level as religion. It's the same level as religion. I will make you
yeah. Okay.
I will be very brief, just a sentence. I will make you understand. George Bush, September 11th, after that happened, what he said for the religious people, we have to go there because they are the enemies of Christianity. For the other people, what he said, the same meaning, different sentence. We have to go there because they are the enemies of America.
Yeah, to sum that up, I think not having any relationship at all is not good, because you really have to have a sense of community, and that really is sort of a symbol for that. If you
conference, you have to understand what's the meaning of every flag. Like in America, I understand that all the stars, they unite all the states,
Yeah.
and that's it.
Yeah.
But I don't really understand and know what's the meaning of Roman flag. Why is that and yellow?
Oh, but most flags wouldn't really have this direct connection like the American flag. For me, it's a sort of a symbol. You don't have to like the flag. You don't even have to raise the flag. But if that is a symbol of having some sort of relationship to your own identity, to a sort of a common identity as a people, then you should have some connection to it. Yeah. So it's not easy to answer strength or weakness. It's just a thing you have to have the right balance. And I don't mean that as a I do think you have to have a balance. Yeah. Yeah.
And what does the German flag signify?
That's actually tradition. If I remember correctly, that's from the 1700s, and that it was just the first democracy movements by students, I think, And that was a flag that was black, red, and white. And that was sort of the first flag that was shown 1700, 1600. Actually, I don't know the dates. And don't ask me why those colors then. And that's just
That would be my follow-up question, because for instance, my country saying this means each color of the flag would represent something.
okay.
Like the yellow would represent
Okay.
the sun. The
How
red
old is your country?
in terms of independence,
Yes.
34 years.
Okay, so you really you designed the flag then.
Yes, that's
So because that's different. I mean, that's sort of if you're developing a new identity, a new country, you can also put symbolism within loads of stuff. But of course, most European countries are so old that I wouldn't know where I do know where the French flag comes from. Actually, I can't tell you. It's very old, and it doesn't really stand for, the black doesn't stand for anything. It's just tradition. Yeah, sorry, you were.
My question is not related to the flag. Just on the perspective you shared of how Germans feel about yourself and the community and the work that is being done in the nation branding. Is that reflecting the Germans in the diaspora as well? Or is it more in German, within Germany?
You mean what we are doing? Actually, we are, and I'm coming to that. We are actually working more within German borders, within Germany. The reason for that is partly because, as I've said up until now, we do think that we have to focus our attention on the people here, first of all, and then we can communicate that internationally. And we do some stuff internationally, but not as much as in Germany itself. I have to admit, and we are different than most other nation branding companies regarding that. But it also has got structural reasons because of our finance situation. Very often, you might know, it all comes down to finance, and we just have more finance, more money within Germany than internationally. That's very pragmatic. But I think let's go on a bit. As I've said, that's how we viewed ourselves, and the World Cup, and there would have been many more pictures, really changed our image of ourselves. So actually we were proud now. No, that's not the right. We are more okay with using the flag, especially at sports events. That's really increasing, because at sports events it's a sea of flags everywhere. You could you agree, I think. But apart from that, it's still not used. And as I've said, all I want to say is, for me, it's a symbol of how we view ourselves, our identity. Yeah.
Maybe I can add a sentence to that.
Sure.
Because what I have a feeling that now, with the more recent shifts with the migration movement coming towards Germany, today we see maybe a bit more flags than we used to a few years ago.
Yeah.
But many times they are negatively associated by the majority of the population, because like people who tend to sort of define with the political rights tend to use them more now. And so they receive just another negative connotation of being something that we do not as Germans want to be associated with.
So, do you get that? So it's difficult. It's sort of, the flag by now is sometimes occupied by the right, and that's exactly why the majority of Germans did never associate with the flag, because it was a sort of a thing by the right. Flags were always nationalistic, and that's why we don't. That's a problem right now. Right. So once again, just for you students, you might recognize that's Anhalt's hectagon. And as you can see, I think you all agree, we do not have a problem with exports. We do not have a problem as a country. With governance, because I think you also agree Chancellor Merkel is really quite well liked and respected all around the world. We do not, I think, and you might tell us a bit more about that later on, we do not have a problem with cultural heritage, with music, with the arts, with philosophers, with Goethe, of course. But we do have investment in immigration, I'll come to that later, but we do have a problem with people, and that's why, if I say problem, we have a problem with ourselves and also how we project ourselves in the world, and so that's why we focus on the people side of the Anholm hectagon. Now, we were founded for the football World Cup, as I said, by industry and by politics, and you might know that from other nation branding efforts that countries make. It's always a question of, is the political will in a country there to do something like that or not? It's really only politics. No matter if it's necessary or not, it's politics. But then, as I've said before, because the mood was so bad and it was not reflected by the economic figures, because they were good, politics decided it is necessary, and also the German industry decided it is necessary, because again, the figures were good, exports were great, but the mood was not like that. And so both decided we have to do something. The Germany Land of Ideas, my company, was founded. And because of what I said, our goal, what I said before, our goal always was to put the focus on the people. Because we realized if we show the people in this country and if we help make them feel better about what they are, that then we communicate to the outside world. We cannot, and we have never done just advertising campaigns like most nation branders do. And I really, I said last time, I really love the Britain is Great campaign. I think that's really a good one. I have nice images. But a student last time told me they do not have anything about actual people, about British people in that campaign. And I thought that's interesting because I always liked that campaign. We never did any campaigning because that's what, we just don't like to tell stories. What we like to tell, what we like to focus is the ideas the people have. We really want to prove that Germany is a land of ideas. And we prove that by finding people with ideas, showing those ideas, giving them a platform, and communicate that. And when we do that, of course, we try to stimulate innovation. We're looking for innovation. We're showing them sort of the best practices. We show them. We appreciate what people are doing here. And that really is not, cannot underestimate that. You have to tell the people that it's good what they're doing. You really have to appreciate what they're doing, because many are doing it, many of the people we find are doing it for non-profit. They're just doing it because they want to do it. And you have to give them a sense of appreciation for that, and then showcase that in order to stimulate more innovation. Because if I put someone with good ideas and good projects on a platform, show that to others, it will be a best practice for others, and hopefully they will start new projects. So that's sort of a wheel we're trying to fuel. So just to wrap that up, what we're doing is, I think, different than other countries. We are concentrating on the people in Germany, and we're trying to highlight what they are doing, and then we're going to communicate that internationally. We're not doing campaigns, we're not telling stories, we're not just taking pictures from anything and, well, say this is what Germany is. We actually prove it by showing German people. That's the same thing. We try to increase the visibility of ideas, showcase those ideas, and with that we create a common identity. And then again, for the more theory, just for the theory behind it, but that's the same as I've said already. We try to find innovation, we try to motivate people or appreciate what they're doing, we try to mediate, which is we try to connect them. start networks, but because networks and dialogue is most important, we think, to starting innovation, and then we try to communicate that in Germany, but also outside of Germany. Now, how do we do it? We actually mostly do it through competitions. Because if you think about it, competitions are sort of like a fisher net. I ask you, what are your good ideas? And then you tell me about your good ideas. So competitions help us find the people and the ideas, the innovations. And then we highlight them, we communicate them, and that really helps us actually to have to prove that Germany is a land of ideas. We're not inventing stories, we find those stories through competitions. And we have competitions nationwide, which is very important. So not only in Berlin, because we all know Berlin has enough ideas and innovations, but really in every region of Germany, that's very important. But also in every sector of life. So we're not only doing economy, but also science, culture, society. We'd like to find in every sector of life, we find those ideas and then showcase them. We do have, and the first one you see, that's one of our longest standing competition. That's our flagship. It's called Landmarks in the Land of Ideas. That's running for 10 years, and for 10 years now we have, in the sectors I've just told you, we found ideas and the people behind it. And that's really very successful. We're doing that together with Deutsche Bank. But we also have special competitions, like the one on top. We're right now doing competitions, a competition about digital mobility. So we're really trying to find future trends and areas that are really economically important, but also socially important. So we're doing the one with the mobility right now. And down at the bottom of the picture, you see we have done lots of competitions for education. Because that's very important for us. If we want to show society as a whole, of course we have to start with education, because every good idea starts with a good education. And so that's why we think it's important to highlight what we have and also highlight things that are not just in our education system. And I think our education system is quite good compared worldwide, but there is lots to still improve, and that's what we were trying to show here. Another tool that we have, and you might know that from other experiences, conferences. We do actually have a conference which starts next week. It's called Africa Exchange, where we try to highlight young African young leaders with their best practice stories and put them together with German young leaders and try to start a dialogue, because that's what we try to do internationally, always start a dialogue. We do not want to show anywhere, we do not want to say anywhere, this is how you do it. We know best, this is how you do it. That's just not an approach which we think is useful. It's really ridiculous, but we always try to start a dialogue, and that's what we're doing with the Africa Exchanger conference. And with the DLD conference, that stands for Digital Life and Design. There our aim is to, again, highlight the chances one has with digital tools, with the digital age right now, put that together with students, with interested students, and with the economy, the so-called hidden champions. We have lots of hidden champions, world export leaders, and very often they're in far out regions of Germany, so they have a problem that they do not have enough people there, certainly not enough students or workers. And by this conference we try again have a platform and hope people internationally as well talk with each other. Again, this is showing what is happening in Germany and communicating that to the outside world. And of course, like you might know from other nation branding efforts, and that's because that's what most other countries are doing, we try to showcase Germany abroad. We have the so-called German years. I don't know if you've ever heard of them. We started in 2006 in China. We then moved on to India and so on. Most recently, last year, we were actually in Saudi Arabia. Those last pictures are from Saudi Arabia last year. And what we're trying to do there, this is really a showcasing of Germany. The ideas we found, the people we found beforehand in what we did in the competitions and conferences, we're trying to bring abroad. And we really try to show every sector of life. We try to show what is happening in the economy. We try to show what is happening in society. We actually rely on the Goethe Institute to do culture, because Goethe Institute is our cultural institute, you might know. So we have science, we have all the big science companies with us, and of course politicians, and we try to show what Germany is all about. As you can imagine, especially in Saudi Arabia, that wasn't easy, because you can't really have a full-blown picture of Germany, of our culture. In a culture like Saudi Arabia, it's just not possible. But we knew that. But it's, I think, important to start a dialogue. Many people there just didn't know anything about Western culture or German culture, and just to give them an opportunity to experience that firsthand and actually get in touch, and I mean get in touch with us, is a way to start a dialogue. Nothing more, but at least that. And that, I think that's really important. How long? The German years, that depends. China was 3 years. 3 years and really traveling through all of China. India, I think, was 2 years, again, traveling through India. So, yes, yeah. In different towns and different events and different again, by the Goethe Institute, different artists. Saudi Arabia was not that long. Saudi Arabia was actually at the Janadriya Festival. That's a cultural festival in Riyadh. That was 3 weeks, I think. So it depends on the country and on the circumstances, and again, of course, on finance. Yeah. That's political importance. They were chosen by the Foreign Office. That's not our doing. And that the foreign, sorry. Parts of it is from the government, but, well, let's say 50-50. 50 parts from the Foreign Office, and 50% is really from private companies. So there, and you really have to have because that's really expensive. 3 years traveling around China. All our strongest brands were participating. So that's it's of course all the automobile industry was there and was giving money. Chemical industry, BASF was there. Lufthansa, so all the strong brands you might know of Germany, they were all there. They could showcase themselves as well. And we really thought this is appropriate because a lot of what you think about Germany is connected to strong products, and that's the economy. So really you should show the economy as well, because if you don't, it's not Germany. You have to have the economy with these strong products. You have to have culture, because that's also Germany, and science. Those three are the big players for us, for most countries actually. Right, so again, we have a different approach. We start in Germany, find the ideas there, and then communicate them to the outside world. Nothing is really fabricated, but it's always sort of true stories, because those are the stories of the people that give us their ideas of the Germans. Now, most recently, we have started actually a social media campaign, a small campaign, not an international campaign. Because, and there again you have the flag, we are also obsessed with the flag. This is Zori Ismaili, she's from Afghanistan. She's German now and was an immigrant, I think, 15 years ago, or 12 years. And we actually, in 2006, we did have a sort of small campaign with Claudia Schiffer, which you might know, and she was the first one. She was actually the first model. Yeah, there it is. She was actually the first model. That's 2006. A bit of humor there, and all the others are like that. She actually suggested to the photographer, we would never have started that, to wrap herself in a flag. And that was really a sensation at the time because, well, nobody did that before. And it was for Germans also a different way to see our flag. Now, we picked up on that most recently because, as you heard, we had a new kind of identity problem most recently, starting 2 years ago, with the great influx of immigrants. And most, I think I really can say that, most Germans are quite happy with that and really appreciate and are open to what is coming into our country because, and we see it the same way. We think we have to be open to new ideas because if you're not, it's just a stagnation. You have to have new ideas, you have to have new input, because otherwise you're sort of going in circles. You have to have new input. That's what we think. And I'm pretty sure that's what the majority of Germans also thinks, but not everybody, of course. And that's why, as you said, we try to get the flag away from the far right and put it right in the center of what we are doing by having an Afghanistan model. And as I said, she is German, but still her background is Afghanistan, into the flag, and by that sort of symbolic gesture, try to tell everybody, this is our new identity, and it's beautiful. I think because she's beautiful, and she's a very, very nice person, so that's what we are most recently started. To my surprise, actually, the response in Germany was muted. There was not much response in Germany. I was surprised by that. But internationally, the response was really great. Really saying it's good that you're open to these new influences and good that you're not this monolithic German picture anymore. But really, many people thought that's very courageous. Actually, we hope for a more strong reaction in Germany, also for a discussion. But that didn't happen. I think there was something about Trump in the news, actually. So it's always clouding everything. Right, so to add that up, I think what nation branding comes down to is really creating trust in a country. And I think creating trust means getting to know the people of a country, creating trust in what they're doing. And I've heard yesterday, especially after what Trump did yesterday, that many people were calling for Germany to take on a bigger role in defending the values that most of us share, I guess. And I also heard, but we're not quite sure how Germany works, how the people tick. And I think actually that's what nation branding can do. Nation branding can build up trust in people by showing how a country is working, how the people are actually, how they are. And that would build up trust if we can show a picture, a truthful picture of a country, of a people. And then you have leverage, and again, you also have soft power. If that is if you want to lead on in certain areas, you have to have soft power, and you can only have that by showing your people, showing your country, and showing the people in it. Yeah.
When you started doing this work, was that your main goal? I mean, to create trust, to project this image, in order to increase the soft power? I just want to know. Is that a goal?
The goal right in the beginning was really create an identity and show a good picture of Germany to the outside, to international audience. I think that has changed over the course of the 12 years we now exist because I think the demands on Germany have also changed. Because of all that is happening right now internationally. I think the demands really are different now. And also, and we've talked about this before, Germans, the demand what the international audience wants from Germany or demands from Germany, but also what Germany thinks, what they should do. And so the trust, I think that's rather recent, I think, 2 or 3 years. We have to have trust in ourselves as well, but also projecting that trust to the outside world. And that was somewhere on the back burner, certainly at the beginning, but that was not the original intention, no. Yeah, thank you, that's it. Now open to question.
Before that, when I was talking to, of course, that sometimes I think people know, that we need to clarify it. When I was talking about the values, I didn't want to generalize. Never is good to generalize. The second thing is like just a comment. Of course, I don't like to overcome, but we cannot fall or we cannot be mistaken thinking now that the destiny of the planet is going to change for worse, or so much worse than it was before, just because we decide to follow 5 degrees. I mean, Donald Trump is not only the problem. I mean, there are more problems.
There are more problems. Oh yeah, I agree.
Not because now he is out of the
No.
we are going to destroy the problem.
All I was saying,
We are going to destroy
things are on the move, seem to be on the move right now, and power is shifting. And that goes for different levels, different subjects or fields. I think power is shifting somehow, and nobody really knows where it's going. Yeah.
Can I ask you, how do you perceive this creation of trust? I mean, how do you measure it? How do you notice it? How
That's difficult. Yes, that's difficult. And as I said, the hard facts we actually have are all those rankings. The Nation Brands ranking is one, because that measures credibility, I think. And there are loads of rankings, but I really have to say, rankings are sort of, only one thing. But we do get the questions we get about why are you not doing more? Why are you not showing? Why are not what you're doing? Why are you not leading more? We do get we get different questions than a few years ago. So, and I think behind those questions are because they wouldn't ask those questions if they hadn't trust in what we're doing. But it's I have to really say it's shifty. You can't really measure it. Yeah, you were.
Yes, about nation branding, I was just thinking, Germany had a lot to sell everywhere, you had a lot of brands.
Mm-hmm. Products, you mean, or
Products, yeah.
okay? Mm-hmm.
Yeah, like the initial slide you showed with all these associations
Yeah.
that we
This one. Yeah.
and many of them are very strong. And I'm thinking about nation brand, and you were also mentioning about the importance of when you're building trust.
Mm-hmm.
So I'm thinking about countries who don't have this much to sell.
Mm.
Is nation branding not for them? Is nation branding reserved to wealthy Western countries?
Actually, that's why I started like this. You could argue we don't have to do any nation branding at all, because I mean, this is known all over the world about us. So why do something else? The small countries really. You have those different countries. You have those countries that have an image, but it's bad, and you have to change that image, and that's not easy because you have to change very often stereotypes. That's not easy. And then you have those sort of many newly formed countries that don't have an image at all, that are so similar to, especially in the East Bloc, even for us, and we're Europe, we very often can't distinguish between all those newly formed nations. Same goes for African countries, for us in Europe. We very often can't distinguish between them. And the same, the other way around, might go for Africans, I say, for Europe. I know many Americans can't distinguish between the European countries. So this is very hard to form a distinct, recognizable, and rememberable image. That's very hard. So really, yes, small countries should do it. And they really have to think about what their story is. And really, and I think that's the most important thing. They should stay true to their country and not trying to tell any other story about their country, because if it's not believable, people will not remember it. And that's really important, I think.
What if they have things about their country which is not so good? Lowers their credibility or their standing in the international community? Should they not do it?
No, but like if it was in German, like the same, it doesn't work.
No, but that was in the past. We're talking about countries these days who, like China, like South Africa. They have a lot of good things going for them, but they have some skeletons in their closet. Something which the international community does not approve of.
Yeah.
Should they not do
Well,
it?
can I give this to the audience? What do you think? Yeah? Mm-hmm.
I have the same question because I have a lot of conflicts within myself, within my country.
Okay.
Because on one hand, I do believe in nation branding, but the other time I'm like, gosh, my country's making me mad.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
It's difficult.
Mm-hmm.
It will always be difficult, but I
Mhm.
think your approach is saying that maybe it's important to first focus on the people within the country and take South Africans, for example, to believe in the unity within South
Mm-hmm.
Africa,
Mm-hmm.
and then we can project outwards.
Yeah. And through that progress, I think certain areas will pop up that are good to communicate and right to communicate, and other areas will sort of go down the ladder because they're not that important anyway. So I think that comes out of it, of such a process. Yeah.
Yeah, may I comment to that example? Maybe it's not that equal, but I'm from Ukraine, and I see how in my country, in this 3 year, people united with this national branding. They have the symbols like flag, like national border and dressing, and they just say that they are criminals. They try to be proud of that, and everyone sees that yes, no one knows knew about Ukraine, but they had war that was a terrible situation, and that makes people to unite and to find out in the country something that they can be proud of. And it's not a communist.
So that would be
There
the.
are a lot of bad things in the country, but everyone in the world knows that okay, if you're wearing this shvank and they say you're from Ukraine, okay, that's not very bad.
So that would be the first step: create a unified vision. Now the next step would be go outside. Yeah.
My question is, how did you find what is the identity of the nation? I mean, you said you're for the opinions of people, right? How did you get that information? Did you make a questionnaire or search out?
Do you mean how do we get the slogan, Germany, Land of Ideas, or what?
No, you had the image of Germany that consists of all these things.
Mm-hmm.
And where did you find it out? Okay, we know about Mercedes, about the cars and so on, but you gathered it to be like, national identity. From where did you find it? Did you ask people what they think about Germany?
Yes, but well,
Like,
yes, we did. Yeah, we did.
how you did it?
We did, but we asked people, but also, of course,
What I mean, the questionnaires or
we had questionnaires, right, at international fairs, for example, because there the people were gathered there. It was easier, and we did sort of a media research. So what kind of, and it's even easier today if you just use Google, if you put the name of your country in there and then you check what kind of research you get.
But it's from outside of the country, not the people inside. Or you differentiate these images? I
I mean, the one that is in the minds of the
If you want to do a proper process about nation branding, you have to have the eternal image, that's right, and the external image, and you have to match that. That's right. This is a random. I randomly put that together because I know that's what everybody knows about Germany. I could put 1,000 more images in there, and then. But if you want to know, if you really do in a process of doing nation branding, and you have to decide what does the world think about us, and what do we think about us, and you have to match that external and internal perception. You really have to have focus groups, yeah, internally and externally. You have to have surveys, or you could actually do a media survey. That's possible, and you have to have certain parameters what you're looking for. And certain catchwords, if you say you're looking for what does the world know about our economy, then you can, of course, shape the questions like that, and so on. But you can also do a random search, which is also helpful in many ways. But that's really, you have to work on that, because you wouldn't know otherwise.
Yeah, but they don't match. They
No
don't
final questions here?
Yeah.
Okay. Yeah, let's be three final questions. Sure. Thank you very much.
Quickly, just to piggyback on the question of identity. This is my first time in Berlin. I'm studying in London, and before coming here, really, I didn't have any preconceived image or what is Berlin or what is Germany.
Mhm.
So I'm asking you, tell me, what does it mean to you to be German?
It's unfair.
Tell me, what does it mean to you? Because I'm sure, too, as well, it would be interesting to know the young lady from Afghanistan, now Germany, what does it mean to her? To be
Well,
German?
I actually can tell you what it means to her, because she said she's proud, and she is thankful that Germany gave her all those opportunities, which she wouldn't have in Afghanistan. I tell you that. For me, it's more difficult. Because I wouldn't start with saying I'm being proud. It's just not.
And so then herein lies the problem.
Yeah, I do. I'm the best example of a mixed identity. Actually, I am proud of some of the stuff Germany does, very much so, and I think no, I'm proud of some of the stuff Germany does. That's really should be enough. But you can see, yeah, it's mixed. Sorry. Yeah, I think you were the last one, right? Yeah. Mm. Yes. I think what is important in regards to nation branding to remember is always tell what is actually there. Tell the true stories of your country, of the people in the country. And then it's a reflection of what the country is, and then it's good, I think. You shouldn't, and it's all about balance. You shouldn't go to the right to be too patriotic. You certainly shouldn't tell others what to do. It should be an offering of what the country you are talking about, you're from, is offering, and it should be an offer also for a dialogue. But apart from that, this is it, I think. And that should be enough. if every country would do that, we would have much more open dialogue and much more open networks also, would be easier. And I think nation branding can't do anything else than that. And if it works, it would be a lot. Right. Thanks again.